Hi there, it's Nicole McGork from Mama Elephant with a designer series project featuring the new Believe in Magic Creative Cuts dies that coordinate with the Believe in Magic stamp set released last year. For my card today, I created a shaker using the snow globe portion of the Creative Cuts dies, and I'm combining these with the Fem Frames Stitched Rectangle and Scallop from the Basic Dies collection from Mama Elephant. To start, I'm simply going to die cut my scallop base layer from some red cardstock, and then I'm going to die cut several pieces using the stitched rectangle from the Fem Frames set. I'm going to die cut two pieces of light gray cardstock, also a transparency, and then I'll show you how I will stamp and customize the front part here. I am going to be using the wide stripe from the Basic Borders stamp set and this coordinating light gray ink. This is the Fog Gray ink from Simon Says Stamp with the Fog Gray cardstock. And I'm not going to be real specific. I am not measuring my stripes or the width between the stripes. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. It doesn't have to be perfect. This wide stripe is fairly forgiving, I've found. So I'm going to stamp this all the way across my paper. I did turn the stitched rectangle horizontal. I find it easier to stamp it this way, but the stripes will be vertical on my card as this is going to be a vertical designed card instead of horizontal. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of color there to each end. I felt like it needed just a little bit. Now, as this ink dries, it does fade quite a bit, so it will be quite a bit more subtle in the finished design. Next, I am going to stamp the base of my snow globe using the slate gray ink from Simon Says Stamp. I wanted the base to be very dark, but not black, and the slate gray ink is a great alternative to black if you do not want to have a black ink there. I stamped it several times. That image, I had not stamped it before, so I found that it needed a few stamped images to kind of get that good impression, which you sometimes need to do. Then I die cut it with the coordinating Believe in Magic die. I stamped the greeting from the Believe in Magic stamp set using the slate gray ink for the large word and then the wild cherry ink from My Favorite Things above that. I like multicolored greetings like this. Now I'm going to set that aside for just a second, and actually I'm going to need to kind of hold my snow globe base in place and take the actual snow globe topper and position that on my card so that I know where I want to die cut the top of my snow globe. Then I can set the base aside and run that through my die cutting machine to create the window that I'm going to be using. Well, that will show through the shaker portion that has the little scene in it. I've die cut a piece of clear plastic transparency type paper using this stitched rectangle again, and I will adhere that right behind that front panel of my card, and I can go ahead and adhere my snow globe base as well. So there's how my card's looking so far. Now I don't want to be able to look through my card and see that red background, so I die cut another layer of that light gray cardstock that I was saying earlier, where I cut two of them, and that will actually be on the back side. Now to create my scene, I am stamping the little cityscape as well as several of the reindeer using black ink on smooth white cardstock, and then I will die cut all of these images using the coordinating Believe in Magic Creative Cuts dies. Going to just use a little post-it tape to hold these in place so they don't shift when I run them through my machine. The magnetic platform works great, but I always like to just have that extra security to make sure that my dies don't shift as they go through. So all of these little teeny tiny pieces I'm going to grab and I can start laying them out and seeing if I like how they look on the card. Now, before I adhere any of those pieces on the inside, I need to stamp the starry background that I want inside my snow globe, and I'm going to do that with some Versamark ink and then emboss it with white embossing powder to give the sky of my snow globe some kind of a fun, more interesting look. It finishes off the design nicely. And I'm going to repeat this design several times, and then I'll sprinkle on some white embossing powder and see where I need to fill in additional stamped stars, and I can fill that in as many times as I need to, and then I will heat set that for my starry background. Now I've adhered the little city there, and I'm going to put my snow globe die over that so that I have a reference for where to adhere my little reindeer. And I will just grab some adhesive and add a little dot of adhesive on each of these and adhere them in place. I decided not to die cut too many reindeer. It's a pretty small scene, so I wanted it to appear more like the reindeer are coming kind of off from the side, or some of them are kind of around on the other side of the snow globe, if that makes sense. So I only did 5 for this particular design because I wanted to go ahead and add the moon into the snow globe as well, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't so full that you lose the effect of the fun glitter shaker element. I'll stamp that moon now with some yellow ink and use the coordinating die to die cut that out. And then I can simply glue that in place inside my snow globe. Now that all the elements are glued for the inside portion of the card, I'm ready to add those finishing touches before I add the foam adhesive and the glitter shaker. I am poking holes on either side of the snow globe between the globe portion and the base, and I did this through both layers so that I can tie a little baker's twine through here in a little bit to embellish my snow globe a bit. I am adhering my foam adhesive around the edge of my snow globe and making sure it's butting up next to each other so that none of that snow glitter escapes and causes a mess. Shaker cards are super fun. However, if you lose some of the elements because you didn't secure them inside some foam adhesive and they come flying out, that really kind of ruins the whole effect of the shaker. So you want to make sure you have it nice and tight there. Now I'm taking some glitter and tapping it on the inside, or in that little area there inside my foam adhesive, and I'm peeling off that first layer of foam adhesive. I have found that this foam adhesive is fairly thin. It's not real thick. So I like to add 2 layers when I am creating a shaker card, simply so it gives the shaker some room to move. Otherwise, it's a tad too tight and the elements that you put inside for the shaker don't really move around. Once I have all that foam adhesive doubled up, I will take the backing piece and adhere it to the front, and then you can shake your little card. And I like the snow glitter for this because it really does kind of give the illusion of snow. You could put anything you want in there. Beads, sequins, all kinds of different glitters and things like that. Just little things that will shake around. Now I threaded some baker's twine through a large needle, and I'm going to just push and pull it through here a couple of times, and then I will tie it in a bow on the front of my card. And this adds a fun little red touch where I have some red in some of the greeting and then the red scalloped mat. This red and white baker's twine kind of ties all of that together. I went with a gray and white and red color scheme for this card. And I can fluff and the bow a little bit and work that out till I get it how I want it to look, and snip off those ends to shorten it a bit. Now, the cute little snowflake on the snow globe base I felt like needed a little bit of embellishment, so I'll take a teeny tiny clear gemstone and adhere that in the center. And then I'll take some Zotz Bling glue dots and glue some sequins from Pretty Pink Posh in place on the front of my card to kind of finish off that snow and winter type scene on my card. Once I have all of those in place, I decided to add a couple of layers of ribbon between the stitched rectangle and the scalloped rectangle background. And I'm using a wide gray and white stripe and then a thin red ribbon with some white stitching. And I simply folded it over on the top to create a little loop, and then I notched the ends for the wide ribbon and then just cut the red ribbon or the thinner ribbon at a diagonal. Now fold that over, and what I'm going to do to secure this to my card is take my tiny attacher and staple that in place. And I purposely I didn't want it to be perfectly symmetrical. I kind of skewed it just a tiny bit so that the ends don't lie perfectly together. And those staples will be hidden. I added foam adhesive on either side there so that it sandwiches the ribbon in between those layers. Add some adhesive on the back, and I will adhere that to my card base, and my card is finished. Thanks for watching this video showcasing the brand new Believe in Magic Creative Cuts dies that coordinate with the stamp set of the same name from Mama Elephant. The supplies I've used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Please subscribe to my channel for weekly card making videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.